This is just to share some things of what I've experienced in the past, um, but how beautiful it was to acknowledge another solar-coded group formation of consciousness-directed solar codes, the flame orders. When I met Misha Falme, that's her last. That's not her real last name. I forget what it is. It's French. But I certainly shared a lot of what I experienced when her eyes and my eyes locked, right? And she was experiencing what I was experiencing, which is eternal, absolute, pure love that she was experiencing in hers. And she had mentioned a number of other. That's another interruption. What I was trying to share here is that she communicated to me that these are what we call intersections, which are called interference patterns, and how they take place as it relates to mathematical divine right order, mathematical divine right timing, and mathematical divine pure perfect balance. And so that's how circuits get disrupted, or what are known as endocrine disruptors, and you can see the person leave, okay? And this is what happens when you expose the truth as a result of what the experience is informing us of, what we experience. And so Misha had mentioned to me one time when we were driving up to Mauna Loa, this is not funny, but it was beautiful to acknowledge what she was acknowledging within her own soul matrix, her solar rishi identity. And she said, my spirit is bent, like bending light. And so she wanted help to correct the spiral, to experience the spiral that we run, which is the original spiral, which is the original vortex of the first spirit, the first spin point, of pure absolute sound and light that is experiencing its cells, which is what we experience in ourselves, which is pure, eternal, absolute love, which is creation energy. And so she was experiencing that when she met me, and I was experiencing what she was experiencing, which is the acknowledgement and the willingness, much like when you go into Alcoholics Anonymous. Step one, acknowledge and surrender yourself to help yourself, which is to correct yourself. So she knew that it was about libraries, coded libraries, between dead light codes, a dead light magnet code, and a living light spirit code of eternal, absolute, pure love that she was experiencing in me. So it's much like when you go into AA or any program like that, when you're with an enormous amount of people that come from across the entire spectrum that have experienced an enormous amount of trauma, of what's held as miasma, which is the shadow body network, right? The network interface with dead light bulbs, right? Now you're in the wet bulb, dry bulb, experiencing being one. So she wanted to experience being one again, and she was willing to do that. So as we know, it takes a commitment, a solid commitment, right? To honor the one, the first spirit, the first star, the first sun, the yana. Yeah. So I was sort of reminiscing here because of when she said the stuff that came out through the Voyager materials about bending light, the phantom time matrix. And she acknowledged that. Right? Her spirit was bent. She wanted to correct the spiral, so it's no longer bent. So her state of consciousness is no longer experiencing black hole, parasitic identities, parasitic codes, plasma codes, the 10 code, cutting the distance in half and never experiencing the first star, the first spiral, the first spirit, the eternal spirit of fire, which is what purifies us all, because that's what heals us all. So I understood by the relationship that I had with her that she wasn't red tagged. I did not red tag her. She's repairable. Even though so many other folks that met her would red tag her, red pulse wave, atomic D1 implosion, right? And so it really is a commitment that we make on our own behalf, but we're not behalf. It's a commitment that we make to ourselves, which are ourselves, which is the inner lungs, the inner breath, the inhalation and the exhalation of the original 12 spheres template, the original template, the core encryption code, the core CPU encryption code, the Noble Planet code. That's us. You're ours. Have a beautiful day. We love you all. Be good to our inner breathing cells. The right codes. The right spin of codes.